have more important stuff to do than talk to us?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
They're building champions.
All right, y'all go ahead.
Larry, I wanted to ask you about Marion Hampton. Obviously, last year, got out to really good start returning this year. What ways have you kind of seen his game grow from the end of last year up until now?
I think in every way. He's starting to understand the big picture and what it takes, really from a preparation standpoint, because that's where it all starts, and his obligation and accountability to his teammates. And so, from a preparation standpoint to a practice standpoint, every single day he's been locked in and focused, and you can kind of see that throughout his play and the way that he practices. So, I think with that, he's been more productive as well.
Kind of going off of that a little bit. You said he's more locked in this year, things like that. What will it kind of take for him to, I guess, kind of display that kind of consistently throughout the season?
Well, I think it all builds around confidence, right? We can get him in here early and get him off to a good start and find ways to creatively continue to build through that success and allow him to feel great about his game and his approach to the game. And I think it'll just kind of grow from there.
Coach, your room has running backs, all of them who have seen meaningful touches over the past couple of seasons. How challenging is it to keep all of their confidence high when really you can't have all six of them on the field at the same time?
Well, I think it all starts to them understanding ways to contribute to the team, and it's not just offensively. They can contribute through special teams as well. And so as you define their roles and you give them a perspective in which they can go about each and every practice, one, to improve, two, to have an impact, and then three, to continue to stay out there on the field. As long as you're transparent and you're honest and you're giving them ways that they can honestly believe in the vision that they can embrace. It's not saying that it's not an issue, which is not, because it's a brotherhood in that room. They all like and support each other. And I think that based on the last 2 years, we're going to need every single guy in that room. And I think they know that. And so with that, it's been a very competitive fall camp, and we look forward to see that throughout the course of the season.
Are you at a point yet to say, based on what you've seen, who you think the number one back should be?
I think that's Coach Brown's job.
What have you seen, though?
In terms of
Who you think has really shown the most progress and who deserves the number one spot?
They were challenged preseason. All of them were given what they needed to do in terms to improve and what they needed to do to put themselves in position to play. And because of that, we've seen improvement in the group in different aspects, right? Each guy has his own set of issues in terms of growth, and we've seen it. So, in saying that, the thing that we like about, let's say, a British Brooks, he brings credibility, he brings leadership. The times that he's been available to us, he's been productive since I've been here. So the room respects that, and I think it evolves around the mindset that he's actually helped them understand, which is the preparation part. And it's not just the playing aspect of it. It's off the field, in the classroom, body maintenance, all the professional things you need to grow and the way that you need to approach this game to be a better player, to be a better teammate. And so that's a long answer to a short question, but I like them all. We're going to use them all, and we're looking forward to it.
So it's fair to say, sorry, Charlie, it's fair to say that British being back and actually playing on the field has had a huge effect on the running back room versus just being a leader off the field when he was battling that injury last season.
Absolutely, but he's also been a great impact within our offense because he's the elder statesman, and people value his opinion, and he's been good that way.
In terms of body maintenance, I think you said with British.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at some point this spring, he wasn't even wearing a knee brace anymore, which, I don't know, I thought was pretty dang impressive. The way he went about trying to get himself back from that injury, what did you see from him, Larry? What impressed you? What did you notice about just how he did that whole thing? And he obviously looks great physically right now.
Well, I think it all started with his text to Coach Brown and said, "Hey, I want to come back."
Right. In the morning, right? Yeah,
right.
Woke up
And so once he committed to that, and he and Coach Brown got on the same page, hey, we want you back. It's been all, from his perspective, focused and again, British has always been like a low maintenance guy, very low maintenance, and so he's also encountered some injuries before this injury. Yeah. So he understood what it took, and then I'm quite sure he's reached out to some guys that have played here who was probably injured as well, and how did you handle this? And so it's a lot of different resources he had to get to where he is, but he's used them all, and we're quite happy with the way that he's approached coming back.
With so much depth in the running back room, do you think it will be a running back by committee based on the situation, of short yards, long yards, or do you think it'll come down to ultimately one or two guys?
You know, earlier I mentioned about roles, but at the end of the day, you know, I tell these guys all the time, they dictate who plays, I don't. You know, what they put on film, they got to be ready to own. That's kind of the way we live in that room right there. So as we get started, obviously we got to settle on someone, and then it'll evolve just based on their productivity.
Larry, can this be? It sounds like just throughout the spring and the summer, you guys want to be more physical,
Right.
You know, as a running game up front, just a more physical offense. Can this be? And like, are you there yet? Like, how are you trying to do that?
We will be. We have no other choice if we want to get to where we want to get to. And that has to be the foundation in which we do everything, whether it's run or pass. The physicality is an absolute must. And so with that being said, there's been a tremendous emphasis there, and you can see the progress. Obviously, we're not there yet. You know, people ask the question, "Do you think you're ready?" Well, we need every single minute until kickoff to get ready, and we will use it.
Larry, Mac was telling us the other week that George Pettaway spent some time at slot receiver getting some reps out there. What was kind of the process of that happening? Is that, you know, a conversation that happens with Lonnie, or just kind of what's the process with that?
Well, it started with with George and his dad. They embraced that, you know, situation, and obviously when it comes from them, it's a lot easier to move forward with it. So they were on board with it from the beginning, and we're just trying to find creative ways to make that happen.
So, and you know, would it kind of be like, I guess, like a little kind of mixed bag this season with, you know, slot and backfield, just kind of mix them up there?
Yeah, I think you start with a mixed bag, and then allow him to dictate how much that grows based on how much, you know, productivity we get from that.
On the special teams side of it, Max talked about, you know, it's the important third phase. What have you seen out of your returners, both kick and punt return? Have you sort of settled on guys who might be back there starting on September 2nd?
Right. Well, yes. You know, you take a guy like Josh down, who you lost as a punt returner. In the bowl game, we had to, you know, we replaced him with George, but then we was fortunate enough to add Nate. We were fortunate enough to add Huzzy. Will Hardy is a tremendous punt returner. So what we do have is depth, and it's been a very competitive process that we continue to look forward to. As a kickoff return, you know, obviously Josh did some good things in the bowl game. Omarion is a guy that kind of shared that responsibility with him throughout the course of the season. And then again, we've had some guys that we signed that has kind of given us some depth there. So we'll again start with a base of what we left in kickoff return with George, and then we kind of see from there if he just continues to grow. So yes.
Knock my mic off, Larry.
I apologize.
You're getting physical in the mic.
I'll just fold my arms.
No, that thing's kind of finicky
All
over
right.
there.
Okay.
Physical in the mic game. What? Thank you, Jeremiah. I don't know if that'll keep Larry.
We got time for one more.
Mac was saying the other day, if I heard him right, it sounded like y'all might be a little, I don't know if disappointed is the right word. He used inconsistent in terms of like the place kicking. Like, is that something with? I mean, obviously you brought in Ryan Coe there. Like, is that something where you've had some problems this camp in terms of consistency?
Yeah, it's what I see is just trying to, you know, there's a standard there that Coach Brown sets, and obviously that we have to meet, and we're going to continue to challenge those guys until we get them to where we want them. And so with that being said, until we get there, whether it's inconsistency, whether it's building or what have you, we got to get there. And that's where we're headed. And you know, you bring a guy in like Ryan Cole, who's an experienced guy. You got Noah, who got some experience last year, and so it's been competitive, but it's headed in a way that it's headed toward a direction that we need it, but it's not there yet.
All righty.
Yep.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.